Hi, my name's Abby Martin, and today we're gonna go over how to lay out all the pieces for this step stool. And the objective is for you to be able to cut all the material and assemble the step stool project with the cut sheet and plan that I have given you, and also with the instructions that I'm about to give you. So first off, the tools that we will be using in the shop are a radial arm miter saw. And it is called a radial arm miter saw because the arm turns and it also swings back and forth. And the turning is to make an angle cut, and the swinging back and forth is to make a bevel cut. We will also use in the shop a screw gun and a drill with a paddle bit. Now, the jigsaw as well, but the screw gun and the radial arm miter saw are what we are going to be using first off to cut all of the pieces that go underneath the top. So, the pieces that we're going to be focusing on are your legs, your spreaders, your runners, and then the top we'll worry about in another lesson. All right, so first I'm going to explain how to lay out the legs, and then we'll move on to the spreaders and the runners. Now, if you notice, your legs, spreaders, and runners all show that they have a 10-degree angle on them. But only the legs show a 10-degree angle and a 10-degree bevel. And what we're going to do is we are going to set that miter saw to a 10-degree bevel and a 10-degree angle. Now, it doesn't matter what bevel, which way your bevel goes and which way your angle goes on the saw, but we're going to want to cut them all the same. So, on your legs, they are going to look essentially like this. If you were to lay that 2x4 flat and it's been cut, it's going to look like this. And notice that the angle cut is going the same way. And we would want our bevel cut to be going the same way as well. All right? And then also you'll notice on your cut sheet that it tells you for the legs that we are going to lay them out 15 inches long to short. So what that means is your 15 inches long to short. So here's long, the long end of that cut to the short end of that cut, long to short. Okay? And that'll be 15 inches. All right? So what we're going to do to lay out this 10-degree bevel is we're going to use our speed square. So everybody take your speed square out of your pouches, and notice on this speed square right here in this upper corner it says pivot or pivot point. So the objective for the day is for you guys to be able to use that cut sheet with the drawing on the back and the instruction that I'm going to give you to lay out and cut and assemble all the parts and pieces for your step stool project. First off though, we're going to focus on laying out and cutting the legs for your project. So let's head out into the shop, bring your step stool project sheets with you and your tools, and let's go out and lay out the legs, and I'll show you how to set up the miter saw and lay out and cut those legs. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate how to lay out the legs for your step stool project. Okay, on your cut sheet it tells you that your legs are 15 inches long to short. Now, with a 10-degree angle cut, correct? All right, now, so what we are going to do is we're going to pull our 15 inches. We'll start with our 15 inches here and mark that. And then we'll square that down, okay? Now on our speed square, we have a pivot point here, we're gonna achieve our 10 degrees out here, okay? So I'm gonna set that speed square down here, flush here, and I'm gonna swing on my pivot point to that 10 degrees. Now I have it at 10 degrees. I can make the mark on this side of my speed square, okay? Now all I have to do is slide down to my 15-inch mark here, long point, and I'm gonna pivot 10 degrees, and I'm gonna make another mark, okay? Now, that's a 10-degree cut right there. But remember, our saw blade is gonna take out 1/8 of an inch, and we're gonna cut on this side. We're gonna cut on this side of this cut, and cut on that side of that cut. So I need to leave enough room, at least for that saw blade, and then make up my next leg here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make another mark here. I'm just gonna make another mark and give myself 3/4 of an inch. I could have gave myself 1/8 of an inch right next to that, okay? And then I'm gonna measure over 15 inches again, okay? Make another mark. Square that down. And then I go back to making my angle cut, swinging my 10 degrees there. Sliding down, swinging 10 degrees, and making my mark. Now, I can come over, say 1/8 of an inch here at my 10 degrees and make another mark. And then my saw goes right through the center here, cuts that out. And all I've got to do is start from the top, 15 more inches. All right, so you're gonna lay out 4 legs on your material, and then you'll come over to the saw here. Now I want to set up this saw because I'm going to put a bevel on it. All right, so we need to set up our radial arm miter saw to make the bevel cut and the angle cut at the same time. So here's what we're going to do. Notice on this saw, I can unlock it and I can move it side to side, okay? Here is 0. So I'm gonna go to 10 degrees, and it does not matter which way you turn this as long as all your cuts are the same. And I'm doing it this way because I've laid out my angles in that direction, as you can see, okay? So 10 degrees, and I'm locking it down, okay? And then for my bevel, I haven't laid out my bevel on this 2x4, so I can set my bevel either way, okay? So for my bevel, and I'm gonna unlock this in the back, and I'm going to swing this saw 10 degrees. Now here's 0, and then we got these hash marks. Here's 5, here's 10, here's 15. So I'm gonna swing it to 10, and then I'm gonna lock it. Okay? All right, it's important that as I set my material up to cut, now I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna hold my material against the fence with my right hand here, and I'm gonna use the saw with my left hand, okay? Now, if I was over here making a cut, and my cut needed to be here, I would hold the material with my left hand, and I would use my right hand to make the cut. You never want to cross arm the saw. This is very dangerous. All right, so here, I'm gonna make sure that I'm lined up, and I wanna line the blade up here with my line. So I'm gonna set my material up so that my blade is on this side of my line before I make my cut, right? And it's at a bevel, so my bevel is gonna go this way. And then all I'm gonna do after I make that cut is I'm gonna slide down, line it up, and make the next cut. Slide and make the next cut. And that will ensure that all my legs that I've cut have the same bevel and the same angle going the same direction.